Fog presses against the bus windows as it climbs the last narrow road. Pines leaning close, their tops lost in grey. The village appears without warning, a cluster of low roofs crouched between the mountain and a dark river. The air feels damp and old. It smells like wet soil and smoke that never fully leaves. I step down with my bag. The driver does not wait. The bus turns and disappears into the fog, leaving only the soft grind of gravel behind. No signal on my phone. No sound except water moving somewhere below. The houses are quiet, doors closed, windows dark. A thin path leads toward the center of the village. I follow it, boots sinking slightly into mud. Someone has hung red cloth strips along a fence. They flutter without wind, worn and faded. I came here for a ritual. People speak of it in low voices in nearby towns. A possession rite, practiced only when the village feels cornered. No written record, no clear steps, just memory passed from mouth to ear. I study old customs, the kind that fade when no one is watching. When I asked about this one, the shopkeeper stopped counting change and told me not to go. An old man waits near the ancestral hall. He is small, bent, wrapped in a dark coat. He does not ask my name. "You are late," he says. The sun is already low, slipping behind the ridge. The fog thickens as the light fades, turning the village flat and colorless. I follow him inside. The hall smells of wood and ash. Tablets line the far wall, names carved deep, blackened by time. A single bulb hangs from the ceiling, its light weak and yellow. Elders sit in a half circle, their faces still as stone. No one smiles. No one looks surprised to see me. At the center of the room is a low table. On it rests a shallow bowl filled with grey ash. Next to it, a small cup of rice wine. And a mirror, its surface dark and uneven, like water left too long in a bowl. A girl sits on a stool near the table. She cannot be more than 16. Her hands rest on her knees. Her eyes are open, fixed on the floor. She wears plain clothes. Her hair is tied back, neat and tight, as if someone wanted to make sure nothing moved out of place. I take a seat near the wall. No one speaks to me. The old man lights incense. Smoke rises slow and straight, then bends, curling toward the mirror. The chanting begins without signal. Low voices, rough with age. Words I do not know, spoken too softly to catch. The sound fills the room, then fades, then rises again. Between each line, there is silence, long enough to feel the space it leaves behind. The girl does not move. The incense burns down. Ash falls into the bowl. The old man pours rice wine onto the floor. It spreads in a thin line, darkening the wood. I watch the mirror. At first it reflects only the room. Faces stretched and dim. The hanging bowl flickers once. The chanting slows. One voice falters, then finds its place again. A sharp sound cuts. Through the air, the mirror cracks. No hand touches it. No one moves near the table. A thin line runs from the center to the edge, like a vein splitting open. A breath passes through the room, not wind, but something close. The chanting stops. The girl inhales hard, like someone waking from deep water. Her body stiffens. Her fingers curl. She falls forward, hitting the floor with a dull sound. Someone gasps. No one steps forward. She begins to speak. At first her voice is low, broken. Words tumble out, uneven. Then the tone shifts. It grows steady. Older, she says a name. An elder flinches. Another name follows. A woman near the back presses her hand to her mouth. These are not stories told to children. They are not names spoken aloud anymore. The girl's eyes remain closed. Her lips move with care, as if each word has weight. She speaks of a man who drowned before the bridge was built, of a child lost during a winter when food ran out, of a debt never repaid. Her voice does not rise. It does not accuse. It lists the elders shift in their seats. One whispers for her to stop. The old man does not move. Sweat runs down his temple. His eyes stay on the mirror. The girl turns her head, slow, stiff, until she faces him. Her mouth curves, not into a smile, but something close to knowing. Still here, she says. The words are simple. The voice is not hers. The light flickers again. The crack in the mirror widens with a faint sound, like ice giving way. I feel a pressure behind my eyes, a dull ache that spreads into my chest. The air feels thick, hard to draw in. This is not how the stories describe possession. There is no struggle, no screaming. The room is calm, almost careful. The girl's hand lifts from the floor. Ash clings to her fingers, though she did not touch the bowl. She presses her palm to the wood, leaving a grey print behind. Hungry. She says. The word lands heavy. The old man finally speaks. His voice shakes. We call for guidance. The girl tilts her head. You called, she repeats, and I came. Something moves in my thoughts then, a slow understanding. The ritual was never meant to teach. It was meant to listen, and whatever has answered has waited a long time to be heard. The elders begin to argue in hushed tones. One stands, pointing at the girl, shouting that this is wrong. Another pulls him back down. Fear spreads, quiet and sharp. The girl coughs. Her body trembles once. Her eyes open. They are dark, reflecting no light. She looks at each face in turn. When her gaze reaches me, it lingers. I feel seen, not as a person, but as a witness. Then she slumps forward, her weight heavy and sudden. The old man rushes too. Catch her. The mirror splits again, the crack branching like a wound. Outside, the fog presses against the windows. The mountain holds its breath. Someone blows out the incense. Smoke trails upward, then vanishes. No one speaks. I know, with a cold certainty, that this was not a spirit passing through. It did not borrow a body to send a message and leave. It recognized a door that had been sealed too long. The ritual has ended. Whatever came has not. Morning comes without color. Fog sits low over the village, pressed tight against roofs and fields. Water drips from eaves in a slow, steady beat. The river below sounds closer now, as if it has moved overnight. The girl wakes on a straw mat inside her family's house. Her mother sits nearby, eyes red, hands folded. No one has slept. When the girl opens her eyes, she does not look confused. She looks calm, too calm. Are you hungry? Her mother asks. The girl turns her head. Light from the doorway touches her face Her voice is soft when she answers, almost kind. No. The word feels final. By noon, people know she is awake. No one comes to see her. Doors stay shut. Curtains are drawn. When she steps outside, the lane empties. A dog that usually follows her runs the other way. I watch from across the path. She walks slowly, barefoot, as if learning the ground again. She pauses near the well at the center of the village. The wooden cover lies cracked and tilted, placed back years ago after someone fell in. The girl rests her hand on it, just for a moment. Then she moves on. At dusk, her voice changes. I hear it before I see her. The sound drifts through the thin walls of the guest room where I stay. Low, sharp, words pressed tight together. When I step outside, the sky has darkened. The fog lifts just enough to show the trees on the slope. The girl stands near the ancestral hall. Elders face her from a distance, keeping space between them. She speaks without raising her voice, yet every word lands clear. You took the land, she says. You changed the marker. An old man shouts back, telling her to stop. She turns her head toward him. Her eyes look older now, set deep in her face. You remember, she says. The man goes quiet. That night, I cannot sleep. Footsteps move beneath. The floor, slow, careful. I lie still, counting the gaps between each sound. The house settles, wood popping, but the steps remain steady. They do not belong to rats. They walk with purpose. I light a lamp and lift a loose board near the wall. Dust rises. Underneath, the earth is hard and dark, scratched into the wood. Below are marks, curved lines, repeated shapes, not letters I know. They run in patterns, worn smooth by time. These marks are old. Older than the house. In the morning, two families are arguing near the well. Voices rise, sharp with years of waiting. The fight is not new. It has simply found air again. Someone says the well should be opened. Someone else says it was sealed. For a reason, by afternoon, the cover is pulled aside. The smell hits first. Damp and cold. Water far below reflects no light. A rope is lowered. When the bucket comes up, it carries more than water. Mud clings thick to its sides. Something dark floats at the top, then sinks again. No one speaks. The girl watches from the shade. Sunlight touches her face. Her voice, when she speaks now, is gentle. It remembers, she says. That night, dreams spread through the village like smoke. I wake gasping, lungs burning. In the dream, water presses against my chest. I cannot see the surface. I hear voices above, blurred and far away. When I sit up, my clothes are dry, but my skin feels cold. At dawn, I learn others dreamed the same. A woman speaks of hands pulling her down. A child cries about fire licking the walls of a house he has never seen. An elder says nothing but stares. At the mountain, face pale, the girl begins to talk about the forest. There is a house, she says, walking the main path. It waits. No one asks which house. Everyone knows. It stands where the trees grow thick, past the old fields. Burned long ago. No one rebuilt it. Children are told not to go near it. Adults avoid the trail without speaking why. I follow the girl at a distance. She does not look back. Leaves crunch under her feet. The forest air feels heavy, damp with rot and rain. Sunlight struggles to reach the ground. She stops where the path narrows. Blackened stones rise from the earth, half swallowed by moss. The shape of the house is still there, even without walls. The ground smells like old ash. "This is where it stayed," she says. Her voice is neither soft nor sharp now. It is flat. Certain. At night, the footsteps return. Louder, closer. They move through halls that no longer exist. Under floors that remember weight. I find more markings beneath other houses. Always under. Places meant for rest. Always worn by time. The same shapes repeat, pressed into beams and boards. These were not warnings. They were seals. The girl's family. Leaves food outside their door now. They do not sit with her. When she speaks at night, her voice cuts through walls. Names surface. Stories long buried come loose. A man admits to lying about a boundary. A woman cries about a sister who vanished during a bad winter. Each truth falls heavy, stirring more unrest. The village feels awake in a way it has not for years. The land itself seems to listen. Fog thickens where the well stands open. Water ripples without wind. The forest creaks, trees shifting even when the air is still. I understand then. The ritual did not call something down from elsewhere. It did not invite a guest. It opened a door that had always been there. This place was built over a wound. Each house, each path, laid carefully to forget what happened. The spirit, if it can be called, that is not trapped in the girl. It is spread through wood and stone, through memory, through silence held too long. On the final night of the week, the girl stands outside the ancestral hall again. No one tries to stop her now. The elders watch, tired and afraid. The ground remembers, she says. The house waits. Her eyes lift toward the forest. I feel it then, clear and cold. The next step will not be taken here. The village has avoided the edge. Long enough. The path to the forest is narrow and damp. Leaves stick to my boots. The air smells of wet bark and old smoke. I walk alone, though I know I am not unseen. The village sits behind me, quiet in a way that feels watched. The house appears slowly, through the trees. What remains of it, at least. Blackened stones form a rough square. Burned beams lie where they fell, half buried in soil. Moss grows over everything, softening the sharp edges. The ground dips slightly at the center, as if the earth still remembers weight. I stop at the edge of the clearing. The forest is still. No birds, no wind. Even my breath sounds too loud. This is the place the girl spoke of. The place no one claims to remember, yet everyone avoids. I step forward. Ash stains the ground when I cross the old threshold. The smell returns at once, dry and bitter. It clings to the back of my throat. I kneel and brush my hand over a stone. My fingers come away grey. Inside, the walls are mostly gone, but parts still stand. Soot coats the wood in thick layers. When I raise my lamp, shapes emerge from the dark. HAND, PRINTS, dot, small ones, large ones, pressed flat against the wall, some faint, some deep. They overlap, one over another, reaching up, reaching out. No two are the same. They do not look like marks left by fire. They look placed. I feel it then. The air does not move. It feels held tight, like a room full of people holding their breath. My skin prickles. The silence presses close, not empty, but full. I take a step farther in. The floor creaks under my weight, though little remains of it. The sound echoes, slow and heavy, as if the house answers. Images rise without warning. A woman stands where I stand now. Her hair is tied back, her clothes thin. Her face is sharp with hunger. Voices surround her. Accusations spoken fast, piled on each other. Someone grabs her arm. She does not fight. The image breaks. I blink hard. I find the corner where the roof once fell. Charred beams lie crossed like broken bones. Beneath them, something glints. I brush away dirt and ash-dot paper, fragments of it, wrapped in oilcloth, tucked beneath stone. I lift them carefully. The pages are brittle, the ink faded but still there. Records, names, dates, short notes written in careful hand, grain counts, births, deaths, then something else. A list of accusations. I read slowly. The woman's name appears again and again. Blamed for illness, for crop loss, for children who did not survive the winter. The notes grow shorter as food runs out. The final line shakes, the ink pressed hard into the page. Given. I sit back on my heels. The lamp flickers. The forest beyond the walls darken. The images return, clearer now. The woman is bound. Rope cuts into her wrists. She is led through. The village, past doors that close as she passes. No one meets her eyes. She is taken here. Words are spoken. A torch is lit. She does not scream. The fire takes the house. Smoke rises, thick and black. People stand back, watching, waiting for the air to change, for hunger to ease. The image fades. My hands shake. I fold the pages back into the cloth. The possession was never a stranger forcing its way in. It was memory finding voice, an echo that never left. A sound comes from outside. Footsteps, slow. Even, I turn. The girl stands at the edge of the clearing. She wears the same plain clothes. Her hair is loose now, falling over her shoulders. Her face is calm. Too calm. You came, she says. Her voice is steady. It does not rise or fall. It sounds like someone speaking a fact already known. I had to, I say. She steps closer. The house creaks as if shifting around her. Ash lifts from the ground, settling again. She waited, the girl says. Longer than she should have. I hold up the records. They erased her. The girl nods. They tried. Her eyes move over the stones, the beams, the handprints. There is no anger in her face, only weariness. She does not want them hurt, the girl says. She wants them to look. A low sound moves through the house. Wood settles. Stone presses deeper into soil. It feels like the place is leaning in, listening. She is tired, the girl continues. Tired of holding it alone. The lamp flickers again. For a moment, the walls seem whole. Smoke curls near the ceiling. A woman stands by the door, watching us with dark, patient eyes. I swallow. What happens if they refuse? The girl looks at me then. Her gaze is sharp, clear. Then it will happen again, she says. The image shifts. Another winter, another fire, another name offered to quiet fear. The house creaks louder, a long groan that settles into stillness. The forest answers with a sigh. I feel the weight of it press down. Not threat, not rage, expectation. The past does not rush. It waits. The girl steps inside the old boundary. Ash does not cling to her feet. She stands where the woman once stood. Hands at her sides. They must speak it, she says. Out loud. The air tightens. My ears ring. I look at the handprints again. How many times did people come here after, pressing their hands to the wall, hoping to feel nothing? The lamp steadies. The vision fades, but the feeling remains. The house settles. As if choosing to stay awake, the girl turns toward the village. Path, come, she says. I gather the records and follow. Behind us, the burned house stands quiet, patient as stone. It has waited before. It can wait again. Night settles early. Clouds press low over the village, heavy and dark. Lamps glow behind paper windows, their light weak against the thick air. People move toward the ancestral hall without speaking. Feet scrape stone. Sleeves brush past one. Another. No one looks up. I walk with them. The hall doors stand open. Inside, the old tablets line the walls, their carved names watching in silence. The cracked mirror still hangs at the front. Someone has placed the bowl of ash beneath it again. The smell of incense lingers, sharp and dry. The girl stands at the center of the room. She looks smaller than before, pale. Her shoulders slope forward as if she is carrying weight no one else can see. Her eyes are open, steady, fixed on nothing. The elders take their seats. Some clasp their hands. Some stare at the floor. Fear moves through the room, slow and thick, heavier than belief ever was. No chant begins. No one tells the girl to speak. She does it on her own. She was hungry, the girl says. Her voice is quiet, flat. It carries without effort. She did not steal. She asked. A murmur runs through the room. One elder shifts in his seat. Another closes his eyes. She stayed when others left, the girl continues. She worked the fields until her hands split. She shared what little she had. The lamp above flickers. Shadows ripple along the walls. They blamed her when the grain ran out, the girl says. They needed a reason. A man near the back shakes his head. That's not how it was. The girl turns toward him. Her gaze is calm. You know, she says. The wind presses against the hall doors. Wood creaks. The sound is low, steady. Like breath. She was tied, the girl says. Not for safety. For silence. Images rise unbidden in my mind. Rope biting into skin. Eyes turned away. She did not curse them, the girl says. She waited. The light flickers again. The cracked mirror hums, a faint vibration that sets my teeth on edge. An elder near the front breaks down. His shoulders shake. Tears run into his beard. He covers his face with both hands. We were afraid, he says. We thought it would. Stop. The girl nods once. She was drowned, the girl says. Downstream, where the river bends, a gasp moves through the hall. Someone sobs. Someone laughs once, sharp and hollow, then falls silent. That's not true, a woman snaps. That's a story. The girl's eyes lift to the mirror. Her voice deepens, just a little. Go and see, she says. The wind surges. The hall. Doors rattle. Papers lift from the table, scattering like startled birds. The lamp swings, casting wild shadows across the tablets. I feel the pressure then. Not anger. Not threat. Grief, old and deep, filling the room. She wants her name, the girl says. The words land heavy. She wants you to say it. Silence stretches, the kind that hurts. At last, the elder who wept looks up. His voice cracks. Lin Zhao, he says. The mirror shudders. A long crack spreads from the center to the edge. The girl exhales. Others follow. The name passes from mouth to mouth, hesitant at first, then steadier. Some speak it through tears. Some barely whisper. Some refuse, lips pressed tight. The wind presses harder, then stops. The girl sways. Her knees buckle. Someone moves to catch her, but she stays upright, hands clenched at her sides. She is not angry, the girl says. She is tired. The pressure eases. The lamp eddies. The old man steps forward with the bowl of ash. His hands shake so hard the ash trembles. What do we do? He asks. The girl looks toward the door. Return her, she says. The village moves as one. Torches are lit. The river path glows with small flames, reflected in wet stone. No one speaks as they walk. The forest watches branches dark against the sky. The river waits below, swollen and slow. Water slides past with a soft, endless sound. The old man steps to the edge. He scatters the ash with careful hands. Grey dust drifts into the current, dissolving at once. Others follow. Ash falls like light snow. The river takes it all. The wind rises, then fades. Leaves settle. The torches burn steady. The girl collapses. I catch her before she hits the ground. Her body is light, slack. Her breathing is shallow but there. Her face looks young again, empty. The river moves on. By the time we carry her back, the fog has lifted. The village stands exposed under the open sky. No myth remains to hide behind. No story left to soften what was done. People linger outside. The hall. Some speak in low voices. Some stand alone. The elders do not give orders. No one asks what comes next. I look at the tablets on the wall. One space stands newly carved, a name restored among the others. The choice lies heavy in the air. Forget again, or remember, and live with it. The night deepens. Somewhere beyond the village, the forest creaks, settling into itself. For the first time since I arrived, the silence feels earned. Dawn comes clean and pale. Mist lifts from the river in thin strands, drifting away as the sun rises. Water moves smooth and clear now, stones visible beneath the surface. It makes a soft sound, steady and calm, like breath finding its rhythm. Again, weeks have passed. The village feels smaller, quieter, not empty, but careful. People speak less. When they do, their voices stay low, even in daylight. Doors remain open longer than before. Windows are wiped clean. Small things, easy to miss, but they add up. The girl sits outside her house in the early light. She holds a bowl of rice in both hands. Steam rises and fades. Her hair is tied back again. Her face looks thinner, softer, like someone returning from a long illness. Her mother watches us from the doorway, never far. "Does it hurt?" I ask. The girl shakes her head. No, she eats slowly. When she looks up, her eyes are clear. There is no trace of the voice that once lived behind them. She remembers nothing. They told her what happened. She listened without comment. When they finished, she asked for water and went to sleep. Now she wakes early. She helps where she can. She does not walk toward the forest. She does not look at the river longer than needed. The house at the edge of the trees has begun to fall. Rain loosens the last blackened beams. Moss spreads thicker across stone. A wall gives way one night with a dull, final sound. No one goes to see it. No one needs to. The place no longer holds itself together. Time moves through it now, unopposed. I walk the village paths, writing less than I thought I would. My notebook is full of gaps, dates without notes, questions without answers. I thought I came to record a ritual. Instead, I found the space left behind when one ends. The elders meet less often. When they do, the doors stay open. No incense burns. The cracked mirror has been taken down. In its place hangs a simple wooden plaque, newly carved. One name sits among the others, no longer hidden at night. Some people still dream. They speak of standing near the river, of watching smoke rise through trees, of holding a rope and feeling its rough weight. They wake without fear. Only quiet, no one screams in their sleep anymore. Children play closer to the forest edge now. Not inside it, but near enough to feel the shade. Parents watch without calling them back right away. The land feels settled, not healed, settled. I prepare to leave. My bag sits open on the floor of the guest room. Clothes folded, notes tucked. Away. I pause over the last page, pen hovering. There is no final line to write, no clean ending to mark. The girl comes to see me before I go. She brings me a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside is a stone from the river, smooth and pale. It fits easily in my palm. For remembering, she says. I nod. For listening, I reply. She smiles. Just a little. The road out of the village winds past the fields, then up toward the ridge. When I look back, fog rests low again, but it does not feel heavy. The rooftops fade one by one beyond the mountains. The story changes. By the time it reaches the nearest town, it has grown sharp edges. Possession becomes spectacle. The woman becomes a demon. The ritual becomes a curse. People add fire and screams where there were none. The legend spreads fast. It always does. But that is not what stays here. Here, the river runs clear. The fields grow again. The house returns to earth. The name remains carved, seen every day by those who pass. There is no celebration, no forgiveness asked for or given, only consequence. Silence no longer holds the village together. memory does on my last. Night nearby, I dream. I stand at the edge of the forest. The burned house is gone. In its place is open ground, soft with grass. A woman stands there, her back to me. She does not turn. She does not need to. The wind moves through the trees, then it stills. I wake before dawn. The stone from the river is warm in my hand. I leave at first light, carrying more weight than when I arrived. Though my bag is no heavier, some stories do not end. They settle, and some horrors are never what we fear most. They are what we refuse to hear, until the land itself remembers for us.